Psalm 119 of the Book of the Psalms, American Bible Union. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Mark Penfold. Psalm 119 of the Book of the Psalms, American Bible Union. Psalm 119. Aleph. Happy the upright in their way, who walk in the law of Jehovah. Happy they that keep his testimonies, that seek him with the whole heart, who also do no wrong, who walk in his ways. Thou hast enjoined thy precepts, that we should keep them strictly. Oh, that my ways were directed to keep thy statutes. Then shall I not be shamed, when I have respect to all thy commandments. I will praise thee with uprightness of heart, while I learn thy righteous judgments. Thy statutes I will keep. Do not forsake me utterly. Beth. Whereby shall a young man keep his path pure? By taking heed according to thy word. With my whole heart have I sought thee. Do not let me wander from thy commandments. In my heart have I treasured thy saying, that I may not sin against thee. Blessed be thou, O Jehovah! Teach me thy statutes. With my lips have I recounted all the judgments of thy mouth. In the way of thy testimonies have I rejoiced, as over all riches. In thy precepts will I meditate, and have respect to thy paths. In thy statutes will I delight myself. I will not forget thy word. Gimel. Deal kindly with thy servant, that I may live, and I will keep thy word. Open thou mine eyes, and let me behold wondrous things out of thy law. I am a stranger in the earth. Do not hide from me thy commandments. My soul breaks with longing toward thy judgments at all times. Thou hast rebuked the proud, accursed, that wander from thy commandments. Roll off from me reproach and contempt. For thy testimonies have I kept. Also princes sat and talked against me. Thy servant meditates on thy statutes. Also thy testimonies are my delight, my counselors. Daleth. My soul cleaves to the dust. Do thou revive me according to thy word. My ways I have declared, and thou didst answer me. Teach me thy statutes. The way of thy precepts make me understand, and I will meditate on thy wonders. My soul melts away with sorrow. Raise me up according to thy word. The way of falsehood remove from me, and grant me graciously thy law. The way of truth have I chosen. Thy judgments I have set before me. I have cleaved to thy testimonies. Jehovah, do not put me to shame. The way of thy commandments I will run, for thou wilt enlarge my heart. Teach me, O Jehovah, the way of thy statutes, and I will keep it to the end. Make me understand, and I will keep thy law, and will observe it with the whole heart. Make me tread in the path of thy commandments, for therein do I delight. Incline my heart to thy testimonies, and not to gain. Turn away my eyes from beholding vanity. Quicken me in thy way. Confirm to thy servant what thou hast said, which is for thy fear. Turn away my reproach which I dread, for thy judgments are good. Behold, I have longed after thy precepts. In thy righteousness quicken thou me. Vav. And let thy mercies come to me, O Jehovah, thy salvation according to thy saying. And I shall answer him that reproaches me, for I have trusted in thy word. And take not from my mouth the word of truth utterly, for I have waited for thy judgments. And I will keep thy law continually, for ever and ever. And I shall walk at large, for thy precepts have I sought. And I will speak of thy testimonies before kings, and will not be ashamed. And I will delight myself in thy commandments, which I love. And I will lift up my hands to thy commandments, which I love, and will meditate on thy statutes. Zayin. Remember the word to thy servant, on which thou hast caused me to hope. This is my comfort in my affliction, for thy saying has revived me. Proud ones have greatly derided me. From thy law I have not swerved. I remembered thy judgments of old, O Jehovah, and have consoled myself. Indignation has taken hold of me because of the wicked who forsake thy law. Thy statutes have been my songs in the house of my sojournings. I have remembered thy name in the night, O Jehovah, and have kept thy law. This I have had, for thy precepts have I kept. Cheth. Jehovah is my portion, I have said, that I may keep thy words. I have sought thy favor with the whole heart. Be gracious to me according to thy saying. I thought on my ways, and turned back my feet to thy testimonies. I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments. The cords of the wicked were around me. Thy law I have not forgotten. At midnight will I rise to give thanks to thee, on account of thy righteous judgments. I am a companion of all that fear thee, and of them that keep thy precepts. The earth is full of thy mercy, O Jehovah. Teach me thy statutes. Teth. Thou hast dealt well with thy servant, O Jehovah, according to thy word. Teach me good understanding and knowledge, for I have believed in thy commandments. Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now I keep thy saying. Thou art good and doest good. Teach me thy statutes. The proud have forged a lie against me. I, with all the heart, will keep thy precepts. Thick as with fat is their heart. As for me, in thy law do I delight. It is good for me that I was afflicted, that I might learn thy statutes. Better to me is the law of thy mouth than thousands of gold and silver. Yod. Thy hands made me and fashioned me. Make me understand that I may learn thy commandments. They that fear thee will see me and will rejoice, for I have hoped in thy word. I know, O Jehovah, that thy judgments are right, and in faithfulness thou hast afflicted me. Let, I pray thee, thy mercy be for my comfort, according to thy saying to thy servant. Let thy compassions come upon me, that I may live, for thy law is my delight. Let the proud be ashamed, for they wronged me without cause. As for me, I meditate on thy precepts. They will turn to me that fear thee, and that know thy testimonies. Let my heart be perfect in thy statutes, that I may not be ashamed. Kaf. My soul faints for thy salvation. For thy word do I wait. My eyes fail for thy saying, while I say, when wilt thou comfort me? For I am become like a bottle in the smoke. Thy statutes I do not forget. How many are the days of thy servant? When wilt thou execute judgment on my persecutors? The proud have digged pits for me, who are not according to thy law. All thy commandments are faithfulness. They persecute me wrongfully. Help thou me. Almost had they consumed me upon earth. And I forsook not thy precepts. According to thy mercy revive me, and I will keep the testimony of thy mouth. Lamed. Forever, O Jehovah, thy word is settled in the heavens. To generation and generation is thy faithfulness. Thou hast founded the earth, and it stands fast. For thy judgments they stand fast this day, for all are thy servants. Unless thy law had been my delight, I should then have perished in my affliction. Forever will I not forget thy precepts, for with them thou hast quickened me. Thine am I. Save me! For thy precepts have I sought. The wicked have waited for me to destroy me. To thy testimonies do I give heed. To all perfection I have seen an end. Thy commandment is exceeding broad. Mem. How do I love thy law! All the day it is my meditation. Thy commandments make me wiser than my enemies, for forever is it mine. I am become wiser than my teachers, for thy testimonies are my meditation. I have more understanding than the aged, for thy precepts have I kept. From every evil path have I withheld my feet, in order that I may keep thy word. From thy judgments I have not departed, for thou thyself dost guide me. How sweet to my palate are thy sayings, more than honey to my mouth. From thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore do I hate every false path. Nun. A lamp to my foot is thy word, and a light to my path. I have sworn and have fulfilled it, to observe thy righteous judgments. I am afflicted very greatly. O Jehovah, revive me according to thy word. Let the freewill offerings of my mouth be acceptable to thee, O Jehovah, and teach me thy judgments. My soul is in my hand continually, but thy law I do not forget. The wicked have laid a snare for me, but from thy precepts I have not strayed. Thy testimonies have I taken as a heritage forever, for they are the joy of my heart. I have inclined my heart to perform thy statutes forever to the end. Samech. The double-minded I hate, and thy law I love. My hiding place and my shield art thou. For thy word do I wait. Depart from me, ye evildoers, and I will keep the commandments of my God. Uphold me according to thy saying, and I shall live, and do not let me be ashamed of my hope. Do thou hold me up, and I shall be saved, and I will have regard to thy statutes continually. Thou hast made light of all that wander from thy statutes, for a vain thing is their deceit. As dross thou hast put away all the wicked of the earth. Therefore do I love thy testimonies. My flesh shudders from dread of thee, and of thy judgments I am afraid. Ayin. I have done justice and righteousness. Thou wilt not leave me to my oppressors. But surety for thy servant for good. Do not let the proud oppress me. My eyes fail for thy salvation, and for thy righteous saying. Deal with thy servant according to thy mercy, and teach me thy statutes. I am thy servant. Give me understanding, and I shall know thy statutes. It is time that Jehovah should work. They have broken thy law. Therefore do I love thy commandments, above gold, and above fine gold. Therefore all thy precepts I esteem right. Every path of falsehood I hate. Pe. Wonderful are thy testimonies. Therefore has my soul kept them. The unfolding of thy words gives light, making the simple understand. I opened my mouth wide and panted, for I longed for thy commandments. Turn to me and be gracious to me, as thou art wont to do to them that love thy name. My steps establish by thy word, and let no iniquity rule over me. Redeem me from the oppression of man, and I will observe thy precepts. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant, and teach me thy statutes. My eyes run down with streams of water, because they observe not thy law. Tzadeh. Righteous art thou, O Jehovah, and upright in thy judgments. Thou hast enjoined in righteousness thy testimonies, and in exceeding faithfulness. My zeal consumes me, because my foes forget thy words. Pure is thy saying exceedingly, and thy servant loves it. Little am I and despised. Thy precepts I do not forget. Thy righteousness is eternal right, and thy law is truth. Trouble and anguish have come upon me. Thy commandments are my delights. Right are thy testimonies forever. Make me understand, and I shall live. Kof. I call with a whole heart. Answer me, O Jehovah. Thy statutes I will keep. I call on thee. Save me, and I will observe thy testimonies. I rise early with the dawn, and cry for help. For thy words do I wait. My eyes anticipate the night watches, to meditate on thy saying. Hear my voice according to thy mercy. O Jehovah, according to thy judgments, revive me. Near are they that follow after mischief. They are far from thy law. Near art thou, O Jehovah, and all thy commandments are truth. Long time have I known from thy testimonies that thou hast founded them forever. Resh. See my affliction and rescue me, for thy law I have not forgotten. Plead my cause and redeem me. According to thy saying, revive me. Far from the wicked is salvation, for thy statutes they have not sought. Many are thy compassions, O Jehovah. According to thy judgments, revive me. Many are my persecutors and my foes. From thy testimonies I have not swerved. I saw the faithless and loathed, them that keep not thy saying. See how I love thy precepts. O Jehovah, according to thy mercy, revive me. The sum of thy word is truth, and every one of thy righteous judgments is forever. Chin. Princes persecute me without cause, but at thy words my heart trembles. I rejoice over thy saying, as one that finds great spoil. Falsehood I hate and abhor. Thy law do I love. 7 times in the day I praise thee, on account of thy righteous judgments. Great peace have they that love thy law, and they have no occasion of stumbling. I have hoped for thy salvation, O Jehovah, and have done thy commandments. My soul has observed thy testimonies, and I love them exceedingly. I have observed thy precepts and thy testimonies, for all my ways are before thee. Tav. Let my cry come near before thee, O Jehovah. According to thy word make me understand. Let my supplication come before thee, according to thy saying, rescue me. My lips shall pour forth praise, for thou wilt teach me thy statutes. Let my tongue answer to thy saying, that all thy commandments are right. Let thy hand be for my help, for thy precepts have I chosen. I have longed for thy salvation, O Jehovah, and thy law is my delight. Let my soul live and praise thee, and let thy judgments help me. I have gone astray like a lost sheep. Seek thy servant, for thy commandments I do not forget. The end of Psalm 119. Recording by Mark Penfold.